The Nuggets snapped their losing streak against the Bulls. I'll tell you what made Nikola Jokic's performance so dominant as he passes Oscar Robertson for second in all-time triple-doubles. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being an everyday or making us your first listen Monday through Friday. We do appreciate you guys joining us, even on the weekends, like on Saturday night, for this, your post-game episode after the Nuggets defeat the Chicago Bulls 136-120 in a defensive battle. We'll go over the good, the bad, and the ugly, including Nikola Jokic's dominant performance tonight as he passes Oscar Robertson for second on the all-time triple-doubles list. A great game from Julian Strother, the return of Cam Johnson, another injury, of course, because that's how Nuggets lives go, and all that and more on tonight's show. We'll also touch on a little bit on the news about the possibility of Lonzo Ball joining the Nuggets. Okay. My name is Matt Moore. I've been covering the Nuggets as a credential reporter for 14 seasons. You can catch me at Action Network at the Harbor Paroxysm Substack, at the Denver Dig Substack, where I have a big thing going on. I'm working on about how the Thunder guarded Jokic and the keys to that. A lot that breakdown, so make sure to look out for that. Everydayers, if you join our Everydayers Club, you do get access to things like my scouting report that we run every single Nuggets game day. I broke down all the things about the Chicago Bulls in there, including, hey, you should watch out for Gershon Yabusele threes. And what do you know? He hit threes. Isaac Okoro in the corner. What do you know? He hit threes. All that and more in there. Quick episode tonight. My voice is not great. I am under the weather, and I think I'm probably getting sinus infection. And I also have to go do Locked On NBA with Swipe after this, so you can catch our show doing that after this show if you want. Okay. So the Bulls obviously are bad, but I actually thought they played great tonight. I really love the minutes from Colin Sexton in this game. I thought he was really good, and they actually got up and really pushed the Nuggets. And honestly, the defensive effort was far from requisite, and yet they won, so I guess it was requisite. Nikola Jokic was terrific in this game offensively. He was just absolutely dominant. Jokic finishes with 22 points, 14 rebounds, 17 assists, and a plus 36 in 33 minutes. He had 17 dimes in 33 minutes. Do you know how insane that is? Had to play a little bit longer because Jamal Murray went out with a hip issue. After the game, David Alman said it doesn't seem like it's serious, so that's promising, and he didn't want to put him back in with a double-digit lead, so maybe it's okay. Jokic was 6 of 6 from the line, 7 of 12 from the field, and 5 of 10 from two-point range, and 2 of 2 from three. Had the threes going, knocking them down in everybody's face. It was an absolutely incredible performance, and as much as watching, I was like, oh, but the defense, like, he had the best defensive rating on the Nuggets starters, so I'm not going to complain. Like, Jokic was amazing. They killed in his minutes. He crushed everybody, especially that fourth quarter was really what got this done for the Nuggets. This was a back and forth affair. Nuggets were trailing at half. Like, it was getting like this thing went to 4 and you lost to the Bulls, who basically met one another 2 days ago. Would have been pretty bad, but instead in the fourth quarter, from the start of the quarter, they just absolutely ripped off these runs in the fourth quarter and ended it. It was just a dominant performance. Jokic with 5 and 2 blocks, 5 points, 5 assists, and 2 blocks in the fourth quarter. Cameron Johnson was 3 for 3 in the fourth quarter for 7 points after a slow kind of start. He had a really good start and a really good finish, so that's good for Cam Johnson and his return as he returns. The Nuggets made 15 of 22 field goals in that fourth quarter, 4 of 7 from 3, got 12 points off of turnovers in that quarter. The Bulls just absolutely fell apart, but I thought it was like a really good performance from them. I think I'm at the point we're at the point in the season where the Nuggets, without Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson, they had 4 starters tonight. So that's good. They had Jokic and Christian and Jamal and Cam. So they had 4 starters. So that's pretty good. But without AG and Peyton, and without how many miles the other guys had to put on them, and at this point where you're just trying to get yourself to Wednesday to get to the All-Star break. You're just trying to make it. Can't complain about this one. They didn't put a lot of defensive effort in, but I do think that they played really great offensively. Jokic dominated on the glass, which he should have. Val should have been a lot better in that regard. The guards were not good, I thought, on rebounding tonight. That's why the Bulls were able to generate off. Like the Bulls had an offensive rebound advantage in this game, and that can't happen. 12 offensive rebounds for the Bulls, 11 for the Nuggets, and it was worse at one point. You can't, like, the Bulls don't. Jalen Smith was out in this game. They started Gershon Yabusele. Like, Nick Richards had a phenomenal game and absolutely, like, he had 15.7 rebounds, but he was minus 13 because most of his minutes actually came against Yoke in the stagger minutes. I have a hard time, like, overly crediting. Like, I thought Cam Johnson had a perfectly fine night. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and a plus 21 is a perfectly good night for Cam. It was really good that he got going in that fourth quarter. Surprisingly, and Jamal, I'll put this way. Jamal finishes with a 0 in the plus minus because outside of the Val minutes, he was incredible. 28 points on 11 of 18 shooting, 4 of 9 from 3, and 11 assists with 3 turnovers for Jamal. A few more turnovers tonight. Got a little sloppy. But in general, like, they got a great game from Jokic and a really good game from Jamal, who led all scorers. 23 points for Tim Hardaway, but the starter here, the real interesting one here is Julian Strother, who put together another really good game. 19 points, 7 of 14 shooting. Julian Strother shot 50% from the field and 50% from 3, 4 of 8 from 3-point range, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls, and a plus 14. Julian was really good in this game. As the only remaining resident on the tiny rock that we called Strother Island, it's not just me. There's like 5 of us all trying to stand on one little rock. Pretty good. I've just really liked the stretch from Julian. He's played really well over the last 2 weeks. And as I always say, it's a reminder that NBA professionals will go through good and bad stretches. And, right now, I think Julian's going through a really good stretch of basketball. And even if this is a game where the defense is completely overmatched, still, Julian made him pay. And I was really encouraged by the way that he got to his shot and the corner threes. I like his shot selection. He's playing with a lot of confidence. This is a good comment by Big Honey. Strother dominated their minutes together, but this one too. Discuss Biscus says Strother rebounding is also good. 5 boards. This is like a sneaky thing I've noticed is amongst all of the guards, right? Like Christian had 4 rebounds tonight. Jamal had 3 rebounds tonight. Tim had 3 rebounds tonight. Bruce had 3 rebounds tonight. Straw had 5. Julian gets in there and really does kind of like he moves quickly and sneaks in for things and just kind of grabs them. And those are really big, high muscle, like those are high energy plays the Nuggets don't get nearly enough of. And I think he's been really good during the game in our Discord, which you can join by joining at lockedonnuggets.supercast.com. It's a great community in there. Folks were pointing out, Strother picking off passes. He's really good at that. That's the one thing I think Julian's really good at and it's why I have some hope for him, is that Julian gets beat out of physicality and edge, but he does work to anticipate plays. He does see how plays develop. He's snagged a bunch of steals off of playing the corner because he's one of the few guys who anticipates and closes to the corner early. And if you have been listening to the show at all forever, you know that this is like a big thing with me, which is do not allow the corner 3. The Nuggets continue to do it, and it drives me insane. Julian is one of the few guys who plays that pass to the corner. And the risk of this is that he might allow some layups on the interior, but I'm always kind of I don't know. Make a tough layup with guys closing in. Don't let him take an open corner 3. I really like that from there, though. We'll talk about Val and the struggles after the break. Christian, some ups, some downs. 4 of 6 from the field, 10 points. 10 points is good. Getting him into double digits is good. The bar is low here. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover. I did like a lot of CB's defense in this game. And that was something that I can't really say for almost anybody in a game where they put up the kind of numbers that they did here. But I did think that his defense in particular was pretty good. He gave him a 122 defensive rating, so I can't say that much. But I did like overall his defensive performance in this game in terms of what he was being tasked with. There's still just moments where CB does kind of look like he fell asleep. I felt on a couple of rebound opportunities that I just think were there. He is not as quick in reaction time right now because he's not like that's like game shape mentally. So I think that's like a little bit pretty good here. I'm supposed to shout out Jokic's 4 blocks in this game. Look, I think he was good in the fourth quarter. There were plays that I was worried about, like Jaden Ivey being able to get to the rack in this game because of the coverage. But Jaden Ivey was 3 of 7 from, and only he only took 2. God, Ivey only took 2 2-pointers. He's got to work more on getting to the rim. I felt like there was more that could be given in those drop coverage situations, but the numbers are what the numbers are. Jokic had 4 blocks, and they had a 109 defensive rating with him on the floor. So, like, I am incapable of criticizing, especially because they were plus 36 in his minutes tonight. Just like, come on. So, yeah, I guess it was a really good Joker defensive night. This is maybe one where I need to go back and watch the tape more. And maybe I just saw what I wanted to see. And Joker was actually really good defensively. Because, like, the things that I noticed, I was kind of like, oh, boy, I don't know. I don't know. But I think it was obviously good enough to get the win, which is all that really matters. Leadership game from Jokic, especially in that fourth quarter. That fourth quarter was just that team putting their foot down and being like, no, absolutely. Coming up, I want to talk about Jonas Valanciunas and his performance and about the weird nature of all of this. We'll talk about that, plus some other thoughts and some thoughts on Lonzo Ball coming up on Locked On Nuggets. The season's heating up, and DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through. Whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, or just your favorite player, DoorDash makes the entire season more fun. Every player has their bag. With DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps your snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are nights when your team stresses you out pretty much every night with the Nuggets this season. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need dessert now. Those late-night interviews hit, and suddenly you need chips at midnight. DoorDash is built exactly for that. If the group chat says pull up, DoorDash makes sure you show up prepared. Snacks, cups, even a phone charger for that friend who's always at 2%. From tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order on DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season, delivered right to your door. DoorDash, in your bag, all season long. We're also brought to you today by Quo. New year, new systems. This is a time when a lot of us look at the messier parts of how our businesses run and think there's got to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communications is one of the quickest upgrades that you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Quo, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Everyone sees the full conversation thread, which makes replies faster and more personal. It works right from your phone or computer, and you can even keep your existing number. Quo's smart AI tools automatically log calls, summarize conversations, and highlight next steps so the details never slip through the cracks. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this year the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. Finally brought to you today by FanDuel. Last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. I'm on some sacks props. Chason is the guy that gets the most of them when they flush him out of the pocket, and I think Vrabel's going to blitz Darnold a lot. So I've got Chason 2+ sacks at a pretty hefty number. There's also some good ones out there at FanDuel for anytime touchdown on Cooper Kupp and Hunter Henry. Those guys, Hunter Henry is like the #1 red zone target for the Patriots, and the Seahawks are going to drop back. They're going to fake a blitz and drop back into a zone in the red zone. Meanwhile, Kupp is like the outlet guy. They're going to bracket JSN. So I think there's opportunity on both those guys. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and bet $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, season's over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us and joining us on a Saturday night. You are the Mile High Maniacs. You guys are joining us at Saturday night. It's 10:30 Mountain Time. You guys are in here chatting up on the Nuggets. So great. Okay. Discus Biscus asked if Spencer Jones back next game. No, he's in concussion protocol, and that's why he was out tonight. I don't expect him to exit protocol by the next game. I think is possible. Ryan thinks it's possible they hold him out through All-Star. I think he probably probably gets done sometime next week with the new deal and gets converted, but we'll see. They are still looking at some things to fill that 15th roster spot. We'll talk about that at the end of the show as well. Okay, so Val tonight, 5 of 8 from the field, 10 points, only 4 rebounds. That was a problem. Minus 15. And defensively, when he was on the floor, the Nuggets gave up a 161.5. So they scored 1.6 points per possession. I don't know if you know this, but that's bad. It was a lot of minutes with Murray too, because like Murray had 134.8. That was like, you can kind of look at these numbers and identify where the trouble was. It's tough for me to kind of like go crazy insane on some of these sequences. So in a 2-minute stretch in the second quarter, Murray with Brown, Johnson, Strother, and Val. That's a very small lineup. That's Murray, Brown, and Strother. Okay. With Cam at the 4. That lineup was a -8 in 2 minutes. A lot of turnovers, missed rebounds, things like that. That was a problem. In the second quarter, or in the third quarter, Jamal, Tim Hardaway Jr., Bruce Brown, and Strother. So Jamal, Bruce, and Julian are with Val. And guess what? They were -10 in 247, and they scored 260 points per 100 possessions. Not great. Actually 300. They were scored. The Bulls scored 300 points, or 3 points per possession in that tiny stretch of game. So that is kind of how this winds up. That first quarter, Jamal, Tim, Bruce, Christian, and Val, same deal. I do think there's probably a relationship here, and we didn't see enough of Cam and Val tonight, right? I do think you got to surround Val with wings, and the Nuggets don't have them right now because AG and Peyton are both out. So I like putting Cam with Val, obviously, and they don't really have another one. I really would have liked to see more Zeke tonight. This was a Zeke game, and I was a little surprised that he didn't get an opportunity in this game. He plays 154. They tried him for like a second at the end of the first, and it wasn't good. He got beat on off. Like, he tried an offensive rebound. He got an offensive rebound, tried to go back up. Patrick Williams stoned him, and that was it. I don't really understand why you wouldn't try more Zeke, because their bigs are Yabusele, and Patrick Williams played 5 a lot. Probably could have switched a little bit more. And you can really only do that with Zeke. And if you want to play Val because you want the rebounding, that's fair, right? Because it's like, okay, they had a rebounding disadvantage tonight anyway. But I actually think switching is going to get you to a better... If you're getting beat on long rebounds, having switching is probably going to get you in a better spot to rebound anyway. I really think that having Zeke as a switch 5 would have been good, and having him as a power forward would have been good as well. I'm very rarely of the you should play Zeke more mindset. Like I'm pretty honest about what Zeke is. I don't get caught up in like the Philadelphia game. I don't care. You got to be consistent in order to earn, like for my analysis to be like you are good and should play more. You have to be consistently good more than a few times. But I did think this matchup was like a one where you probably needed to, because you could have gone bigger versus them. They also, I think, probably, even though they were bombing from 3, and that's kind of their model, I do think you probably could have played the 2 big tonight and just smashed them, and then played Zeke in the small ball 5 minutes. I know they're trying to avoid that because they don't want to, Joker's on a minutes restriction. Technically, he went over it tonight. And Val's on a minutes restriction coming back from the calf. So I get not wanting to play double big because it hamstrings you, so to speak, knock on wood. But I just think that you could have probably tried the double big for a few minutes and just smash them on the glass because they have no option, and then play a little bit with Zeke on there. Couple more things before we wrap up. Jokic passed Oscar Robertson for second tonight on the all-time triple-doubles list. That is him, and he's chasing Russ, and that's it. That is all that remains for Nikola Jokic. He will obviously retire as the rebound or as the triple-double king. I always like when you pass a guy like this to kind of note how great that player was. And you all obviously already know how great Joker is. You see it every single night, and we shouldn't pass it by. For him to accomplish this at age 31 is absolutely insane. It's remarkable. It's absolutely terrific. However, O is amazing. Go back and watch some of the clips on YouTube of Big O and see what he was able to accomplish. He's also a winner, man. Like, he led teams to the playoffs. Like, Big O was like, he was incredible. So doing this is really an accomplishment because O played a lot of years with a lot of minutes, a lot of usage, put up a lot of numbers in an era where numbers were crazy. And numbers are crazy now, but I just think it's really incredible that Joker was able to pass him. I'm sure Joker is very, very emotional about doing so. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Let's talk Lonzo Ball. Report today at Brett Siegel that the Nuggets are one of 2 teams that Lonzo Ball is considering, Golden State and the Nuggets. I pointed this out in our Discord chat that Lonzo's clutch and Aaron Gordon is clutch and Peyton Watson joined clutch this year. So there's a relationship between this front office and clutch. They've worked together before on deals. So I think that's probably, even with this being a new front office, doesn't have any sort of issues. There's a lot of, I think Lonzo's pretty polarizing amongst Nuggets fans because on the one hand, it's like, hey, it's another ball handler who can maybe defend. It takes a lot for me to think that you are so offensively limited that you can't play. I am worried about it with Lonzo. I think he might be washed. 27% from 3 this year. The minutes were absolutely atrocious. Cavs fans could not wait to get rid of him. Like, it was disastrous. Like, disastrous. And I think he's probably more suited to this style. But I will just note, like, look, man, the Cavs offense is easy. Donovan makes it so easy for people. That team won 64 games last year. The requirement for him was to be better than Isaac Okoro. And by the way, Okoro, pretty good night tonight. I like Isaac Okoro. I think Isaac Okoro will be really good on the Nuggets. But like, I have concerns about Lonzo. And so I would just tell you, if you want them to sign him, that's cool. And they might. You just need to have bottom expectations. It needs to be like Julian Strother expectations, maybe lower. I just think you need to set yourself up for that. And if he's great, awesome, terrific, what a steal. Because some guys do wind up in the right spot. Like Nick Batum was like washed in Charlotte. Went to the Clippers and he just reinvented himself. So it's less about the age, Kim Park, and it's more about who comments he's washed. How old is he? It's less about that. It's just he's had so many really, really, really serious injuries and has had to have so many surgeries on his knees that were like invasive and serious and required a long recovery time. It's real bad. So I continue to think they should go look in the G League and go find somebody. I just think that there's guys out there that are capable of giving them something and being a different look. But it sounds a lot like, they're still looking for, and they want somebody they can trust in the playoffs. Maybe that's Lonzo. Maybe it's not. We'll see kind of how it goes. Kind of wrap up. Jokic is amazing. Absolutely dominated. Incredible game from him. It was great to see him look like the best player in the world again after the last couple of games. Nuggets defense still not nearly where it needs to be, and it's not really going to be there, I don't think, until they get full complement back. I'm encouraged by some of what I saw from Cam Johnson tonight, and specifically, I'm encouraged by having Cam Johnson and Christian Brown back from a size perspective, because some of this is, okay, did Christian and Cam do a lot? No. But what they did was they covered a lot for Nikola. Like, the game was easier for Nikola because of the size that was around him. And they struggled in the smaller lineups tonight, which might be a thing going forward because they're just without two long athletic guys. They're without two forwards. So we'll see what happens. That's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. We'll have more on the buyout market and all that on Sunday's No Jinx. Appreciate you guys being with us. Enjoy the night. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy a nice Nuggets win. Enjoy the big game tomorrow. And we'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets. You can catch me over on Locked On NBA Game Night in just a few minutes. Have a good night. Joker, good.